tip-off Tuesday, October 6th. Game 4, NBA Finals tonight on Tuesday, and we are live 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And we'll be live again this Friday for Game 5 because, fellas, there is definitely a Game 5. Since we last spoke, it did not look likely. But since then, the Miami Heat did win Game 3 on Sunday. We're back now for Game 4 Tuesday here on WagerTalk TV, and we'll be back on Friday for Game 5 as well because the Heat have pushed it at least one more game, and we'll talk about that in depth here in just a moment. But first, I want to bring in my usual suspects from WagerTalk.com, Tony Finn, Teddy Covers, and Rob Vino. Teddy, of course, at SportsMemo as well. Tony, let me start with you. We'll dive right into it. Let's recap both Games 2 and 3 because when we last talked on Friday afternoon before Game 2, I'd mentioned the odds were minus 160 that the Lakers would sweep, plus 170 they'd win in 5. It's now minus 260 that they win in 5, Tony Finn, because 4 is off the table. Heat lost by 10, by the way, on Friday night, and it was anywhere from 9.5 to 10.5 at the close. Landed right in the middle, but then they, of course, won outright Sunday in Game 3. Jimmy Butler getting a triple-double on that one. I think he was at least 3-1 in the odds to do that, if not higher. Maybe that might have been the double-double odds. Tony, your thoughts on Games 2 and 3 and looking at this series now?
My thoughts. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stick with my thoughts on Game 3. Game 2, I thought Game 2 found Miami playing the best they could play and losing. And Game 3 was kind of it was contrary to some degree. I don't think the Lakers played as badly as they could play, but they played. It wasn't nothing like I expected. Maybe Teddy or Rob might disagree, but I expected a focused team that especially from a guy, LeBron, who's actually played on two NBA Finals teams that were swept, and how bad that feeling is. And when you lose Game 3, how it really isn't a 4-game series. It's essentially over in Game 3 in those situations. Miami, LeBron, does anybody else feel this way? And I'll close with this. My feelings is that I thought that was a really bad optic, that how the Lakers closed that game. And I think as the leader of that team, LeBron, that it was almost like he's a little child. He wanted to take his ball and go home. This wasn't fair, or to that degree, he gets more calls than Michael Jordan ever thought about getting, and he gets more calls than Harden. That's hard to do, and he acts like he never gets a call. And when he's losing, he acts like the world. It's him against the world. Now, competitiveness at that level, I like it. I like the fact that a guy comes out swinging. I told all you guys this, and I like Smart. I don't think he can shoot. I think he's a pretty average basketball player at a balanced look, but he can defend. And LeBron, I expected more from him in Game 3. And if you saw some of the shots he took late in the game, when they were down by 8, 10, they were still in the game. And he was taking 30-footers that there was 4 guys on the court can shoot from three-point land better than him. In most games, everyone can shoot better. No one believes me. I don't believe the Lakers are a good three-point shooting team. I don't. There should be no argument. They shot well before. But my thoughts in that game are I had the over. I missed it by a half point, damn it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's amazing how the lines once come into play, even though the first few of those were flying over. Teddy Covers enjoyed doing the Wager Talk today with you live at noon Eastern, as it is every Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Wager Talk TV. And we talked, Teddy, about the NBA game tonight, so if anybody wants a little bonus analysis, if they're watching the replay here, check out Wager Talk today as well. We have some good in-depth analysis the first 10 minutes into that show. Teddy, though, you brought up a point about, the foul calls. Obviously, Miami's been red hot from the free throw line in Games 2 and 3. I misspoke, by the way, everybody. The Lakers are minus 180 to win in 5, plus 250 to win in 6. That's what I meant to say. So once again, the adjusted odds, they were plus 170. Now they're minus 180 to win in 5. Teddy Covers, your overall thoughts of Games 2 and 3 and how you're looking at Game 4?
Somehow, whenever Tony talks, it just seems to bring back some bad memory for me. And when Tony was talking about LeBron getting swept out of the finals, I'm remembering the Cavs versus the Spurs, Game 4. I have a huge wager on San Antonio, and Boobie Gibson hits back-to-back threes at the end of the game, and the Cavs lost the game and still came in under the number. And I was pissed, and I haven't thought about that game in 12 years. So thanks, Tony.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the memory. It's one that really sits well with me.
That was an early birthday present for you, Teddy. Courtesy of Tony Finn.
By the way, Ski Prophet is chatting in the chat, so I think he may be
I don't see him. It's a good day. We don't
for
see
us to come in. So Miami did something in game 2 that kept me off them for game 3. And I'm really mad that I didn't play him game 3. But there is something in game 2 that hadn't been done 3 previous times in the history of the NBA Finals. 50% from the floor, 40% from the three-point range, 90% from the charity stripe. It only happened 3 times in the history of the NBA Finals.
And they all won.
Shot 50, 40, 90. They all went on to win the championship. They're all the better team.
Right.
Miami did that in game 2 and lost by double digits. And I'm like, they can't do that again.
That's good.
I love the spot game 3, but they can't do that again.
No.
What did they do? 50% from the floor, 90% from the free throw line. This time only 35% from beyond the arc. They didn't do it twice in a row, but they certainly did enough. But the Heat offensively have been in rarefied air the last 2 games. We'll see if LA makes some defensive adjustments today. But when the Heat are shooting like that with 2 of their 3 best offensive players out, speaks volumes for Spoelstra, man. The Lakers defense is no joke.
Yeah, and Rob Vino, you're the number 1 ranked all-time over-under handicapper at WagerTalk.com. So I definitely want to get your thoughts on the total. Give me your thoughts on games 2 and 3 as well and what you're looking at here. But Tony mentioned game 3 laying basically right at the total. We're seeing around 218.5 here, so not much of an adjustment, Rob. But Miami can't shoot much better, like Teddy said.
Well, I think, man, Teddy, maybe you saw the same thing. I believe that if they shoot 50% again tonight, that's some sort of NBA Finals record. 3 consecutive games, 50% or better. Hey, I'll go back to what I've been known for the past 2 months. You don't stop Miami from getting the 106. They score their points. And the one time when they didn't, they lost 2 key players in the midst of a game and couldn't recover. But, last game, they didn't necessarily crush it from 3-point range. I mean, as you go down the box score, you see Crowder 2 of 8, Duncan Robinson 3 of 10, Tyler Hero 2 of 7. Kelly Olynyk kind of came to the rescue to make that 3-point percentage look halfway decent at 35-7 because he makes 60%, 3 out of 5. So the shooters that you count on to make threes for Miami really weren't there in the previous game. And as we know, it's been real rare. I'm trying to think off the top of my head where all of these guys had 2 bad games in a row. I don't think it's going to happen tonight. I think LA falls into the same category as everybody else that Miami's played so far. I don't know what they can do differently to stop this team from scoring their share of points. I barely got under the old limbo bar last game, guys. I had and another good example of we always preach getting the best of the number. I know, Teddy, you like to tell novice bettors out there that it's real important. But that first half total, last game, guys, started 109.5, went to 110, went to 111, went to 112, closed 113. I got in at the 110.5, 111 range is where I released it for clients. They scored 112 with an absolute flurry of 3-pointers in the last 90 seconds or 2 minutes of that first half. Miami's extremely capable. Jimmy Butler's driven. Jimmy Butler's pulled a Joe Namath on this game and actually predicted that they're going to win and tie this thing up tonight. He's hard to doubt. His coach referred to him as Jimmy effing Butler after the game. But they just have so many weapons, and it looks like you might get Bam back tonight. I think game 3 and game 2, both shooting-wise, guys, are the reason why in this series I thought all along that LA will have to score. If they don't score, they're going to wind up on the short end of some of these games. And by score, I mean they have to get to 110 plus to win these games against Miami. They didn't do it last game. They didn't win, but they've certainly shown capable of doing it, the previous couple of games. And one quick note, of course, when you lose Anthony Davis to foul trouble real early, as they did in game 3, that causes a little bit of trouble too. And Tony, you're absolutely correct.
Thank you.
LeBron gets called for a travel. He cries for 5 minutes. LeBron then drives Jimmy Butler like a bulldozer backwards and doesn't dribble the ball once till he gets to the rim and then gets called for an offensive foul. And again, he didn't like the calls, but he did nothing from the 7-minute mark to about the 2.5-minute mark of that fourth quarter, he just went dry offensively.
Horrible choices. Just poor choices. Almost like he gave up. I agree.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he didn't do anything. He did a lot of turnovers, a lot of bad shots, so a lot of negatives.
Ski, what are your thoughts overall on your Lakers? Was that just a blip on the radar here in Game 3, and are they going to get back on track here in Game 4?
Two things. First, I'll say I credit Miami and coaching staff because they made a lot of adjustments that bothered the Lakers. And the other thing I want to say is the foul trouble for Anthony Davis hurt the Lakers, and they just couldn't figure out how to attack the defense. So, I mean, I feel like they brought effort in the beginning, but I just think they didn't execute enough as far as like how Miami did defensively. So I give credit to Miami. I do think the Lakers get it together and punch Miami back.
And by the way, we're going to get to the status of Bam. I'm going to have Teddy fill us in on Bam's injury report. But Tony, I want to ask you first. Brooks and who was it? Brooks and Brothers last game, I think. Who do we have in the last one ref in there? And
I know Brothers was there.
Yeah, and I think the foul calling definitely. Maybe they got the memo. We don't want to sweep. We want a Friday night primetime game, which they've got now, and maybe they want that Sunday night primetime Game 6, but they might have to work extra hard to get there. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
I thought there were several college football games that should be investigated this last weekend, but we'll leave that. And I'll say I always think the NBA games, for the most part, there's a stretch at some key point in an NBA basketball game where my Area 51 thinking starts taking over, and this is some bullshit, that kind of thing. So, and I'm not always saying I'm biased. There's a team I'm on. It's just watching. It's just my perception. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was Foster and I misspoke. I meant Foster and Brothers.
Yes,
not
Foster Brothers.
Foster and Brothers. So I'm wondering if we might get someone tonight that'll.
Here's the deal. If Bam, I'm interested in Teddy and what you say. I know I have my own opinion, which is typically my own opinion. It's right, but I want to know if Bam plays. I'd like to hear you guys. I want to hear this panel's thinking on what is. I think LA has to change what they're doing. If Bam, I think they've schemed. At least they did in game. For the most part, they played well in 2, and parts of the last game without Bam, and did some of the right things. I think that they need to do differently, and I want to know your opinion on what they would do differently, or at least what do you think?
Yeah, and Teddy, of course, on Wager Talk today at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, live here on Wager Talk TV. We talked about Bam. You said he's likely to play tonight, probably not likely 100%. Abby in the chat here, Teddy is asking specifically, how do you feel about Bam tonight, and what's his latest status?
So I watched an interview with Bam yesterday, and he's like, look, I don't miss games.
Yeah.
I missed one game. And from watching the interview, my thought was that Bam is more likely to suit up. The betting markets opened at there were 7.5s everywhere this morning. Now we're seeing 8s. Now, some of that may be Lakers off a loss type of money. Some of that may also be somebody out there doesn't think Bam is going to play. There's a decent chance that Bam plays, but is not particularly effective.
Yeah.
Again, from the interview that I watched him talking about it, he's like, I can't lift my arm. I can't lift my arm above my head right now. The guy wants to play, but playing at a Bam Adebayo level may be two different things. So I would not count on a full Bam contribution tonight. That's the way I'll look at it.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy, it's an excellent point, and we talked about it earlier today. Bam might play, but is he 100% healthy? Probably not. I think
not close.
That's the one thing I'm the most certain about, if he does play, that he's not 100%. So the question becomes, does it hurt the Heat more offensively, defensively? He's a strong defensive player, don't forget. Rob Vino, you're a big totals guy, as I've mentioned, number 1 all-time at WagerTalk.com for over-under handicapping all sports. How do you factor Bam tonight when you're looking at this total and just the game overall, Rob?
Well, I think just building upon what Teddy said, I saw Bam, maybe the same interview, maybe a different interview, and while he said he wants to play, he prefaced that by saying he puts it in the medical staff's hands. He's not going to, he'll campaign to get his minutes, but if they tell him no, you're not ready, then he's going to listen to the medical staff. So we'll see what that decision is. I don't think it could be anything but a game time decision. Probably have him out on the floor, see how he looks, and make a choice from there, go or not go. But it shouldn't matter, Steve. It really shouldn't matter. Miami's already made the adjustments offensively without Dragic and without Bam. I think last time we talked, I felt like the only way they could play with LA was to speed it up a little bit, and they have sped the game up somewhat. They found ways to score. I mean, they put up 115 points without Bam. So I don't think it matters as far as point production goes. I don't think it hurts the offense, helps the offense. The question is, if he's on the floor, does it make the Lakers do something different? I'll say this. I heard a number or read a number where he's on the floor for 68 possessions in Game 3. And in those 68 possessions on the defensive end of the floor, Jimmy Butler guarded LeBron James 50 of those 68. And LeBron was a little bit flustered, as we've mentioned a couple of times here during the show. So Ski pointed out there were adjustments made by the Miami coaching staff. They, got a little bit lucky with getting Davis out of the game in foul trouble, but they had a game plan to keep him out of the paint. And they had a game plan to let Jimmy go to work on LeBron James. And I'm sure that stuff will stick. I'm sure the Lakers will adjust to that. But I don't think Miami needs to adjust anything offensively if Bam doesn't go. They look mighty good to me the last couple of games.
Yeah, and Ski, what are your thoughts on Bam, and how are you approaching this game as far as handicapping his situation?
I agree mostly with what Teddy said, that I think that he'll play, but I don't know how much or if he's close to 100%. The one thing I agree with Rob also that, we talked about they made adjustments. They made them on the offensive end. They also made them on defensive end, and they were more than okay without Bam. The adjustments were just force LA to shoot and kind of just keep everybody in the paint or keep everybody close to the paint. They didn't necessarily play zone, but they did a great job helping each other and just protecting the paint as a team. So the Lakers, if they're not shooting the ball well, they may probably struggle, but they've shown 6 times already in the playoffs that they shot 40% from 3. I think I would trust those guys to do that again. As far as Bam, he'll probably play. I don't think he'll hurt the Heat, but I just think that they've kind of already figured out their game plan without him on the floor. They'll just probably do the same thing with him on the floor, and the Lakers have to show their adjustment to that.
Yeah, Tony Finna, we'll close out the Bam Adebayo segment here by getting your thoughts. How do you handicap this game with him, as Rob said, most likely being a game-time decision? And then even if he plays, I think we all agree he will not be 100% Bam. He'll just be Bam.
I'll say the same thing I said last time, and that is, if I'm a totals player and a guy who's backing the Lakers, then I want Bam to play. I want Bam to play because I agree with the second session of Teddy's assessment, and that is that, at least from his tone, I believe that he thinks that Bam will be a liability more than he would be an asset playing if he can't lift his arm or move his neck. It's pretty tough to play basketball if you can't lift your arm over one of your arms over your shoulder, and you have to turn your whole upper body to play defense or to look. But none of you guys to a man answer my question. If Bam plays, will the Lakers do anything different? If they will, what will they do different? And real quickly, on Friday in that game 2, when the guys in the man-to-man defense, the Heat's man-to-man, they allowed 1.5 points per possession on 28 possessions. Okay, and when it played zone, it was 1.22 points per possession on 67 possessions, and they weren't very good. The Heat. The Lakers did what they wanted to do. And for the most part, even without both Gorn and Bam, they turned in their most efficient offensive performance of the playoffs. In Friday's game 2, they were 125.3, I think, per 100 possessions. And Miami scored 114 points. And if I'm not mistaken, on 50.7%, I think that's what Teddy said, was about 50 something, and we're 11 for 27 shooting threes. So game 3 was not a whole lot different. I don't think they were that good defensively. I think mostly it was the Lakers. So if Bam's back in here tonight, what does it do? Does the Lakers change anything? Because one thing you have to remember is that in Game 2, guys, we didn't see that as much in Game 3 was that the Lakers turned 25 offensive rebounds into 37 second chance points. That's where they failed miserably, and all of it had to do with what Ski said. And that was that they were hurt when AD was not on the court, and both those guys, LeBron and AD, looked miserably like they didn't even want to be there. I didn't agree with what I think it was Ski or somebody said they thought they were focused initially. I don't think they were.
Can I answer his question really quick?
Yeah,
answer it.
I think that regardless if Bam's playing or not, the Lakers are going to do something different. So yes, they're going to do something different.
What is it? Don't say that.
I'm not gonna. I'll wait for my turn.
Nah, we can jump in anytime, guys. This is ebb and
Did we lose
flow
Teddy?
Here. No, we got Teddy, and Teddy is going to run here in a couple minutes because he's got a live segment at 3:30 Eastern here, 12:30 Pacific. With Teddy, I want to get some NBA ref info. You talked about it earlier today on Wager Talk today. We've talked about it here. The Heat have been just red hot from the free throw line, and they've been getting a lot of appearances at the free throw line. What info do you have on the refs tonight, Teddy?
So this is who we have calling the game tonight. It's Zach Zarba, John Goebel, Tony Brown, and Pat Frayer. Brown and Frayer, it's their first NBA Finals. Goebel, it's their fourth. Zarba, it's his seventh. So between them, between the four refs for tonight, they have less NBA Finals experience than Scott Foster does.
Yeah, I was just saying, very little experience with the brothers Brooks, Foster, that whole company.
Yeah, so it's a relatively inexperienced crew calling tonight. None of the guys that I know of have that same type of reputation as a brother, or someone who's going to keep the game closer. But that doesn't mean that those biases don't exist. There was also a question in the chat that I wanted to ask. Devin Asuncion asked, is Lakers -4 on the teaser a lock?
Never teasers in the NBA. No teasers in the NBA.
This is my teaser story for the NBA. Before I moved to Vegas, I was a bookie back in Ann Arbor. And boy, we were green as green could be. We had no idea. Never been to Vegas. The first year I was a bookie for the entire basketball season, me and my partner thought that teasers are 6 points.
Oh!
And we gave 6 points on NBA teasers to anyone that wants them.
I want to flashback. I want to go back and play with you that year.
I know, I want my time machine.
Tony Finn,
yeah.
You know how many people beat us that year? And trust me, we were getting a ton of teaser action. You know how many people beat us at the end of the year?
Probably about the same amount of people beat me in college when I ran parlay sheets. 1,067 college parlay sheets. 3 winners. 167 sheets.
That was more than we had winners.
Wow.
Wow. Over the course of the year, because when we found out, when we came to Vegas the next summer and found out basketball teasers are only 4 points, that's why you're getting all that teaser action last year. And we went back and looked and tracked everyone. 0 profitable bettors.
Why fix something ain't broken?
With an extra 2 points. So I don't bet teasers in the NBA. Good luck if you do. I will never do it.
Yeah, and Teddy, of course, this was early 90s, so the lines were probably quite as accurate as they are now also.
Yes.
So you can make an argument that a 6-point teaser in the early 90s would be the equivalent of a 4-point teaser now, but it's still not a good long-term investment. Hey, Teddy, we know you got to run here in a couple minutes. Before you go, let the viewers know what you got tonight on Tuesday at Wager Talk. But once again, Teddy covers Monday through Friday. If you like Teddy, if you like Prez, if you like having a different guest, if you like Ralph Michaels' insight and technical analysis on a daily basis, Wager Talk today, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, the most watched show here on Wager Talk TV for good reason. Teddy, what you got going tonight on Tuesday?
Well, I appreciate the plug. And again, because there's only a few more basketball shows before this season is through, again, we'll be back doing basketball when the next season comes around. But if you want a daily Sports Central for gamblers, check out Wager Talk today. Every day, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific here on the left coast. I'm involved in MLB action this afternoon, and I have a play on the total for tonight in this Lakers-Heat game.
So don't answer my question.
The one that stood out to me.
Don't answer my question then that I ask everyone and no one's answering.
First of all, Ski answered it, and second of all, you can keep asking the question as much as you want to. We can get any of my plays right now at SportsMemo or WagerTalk.com.
That's right. He's at both SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com. And once again, Teddy, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And he'll be back with us, full episode Friday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific here on NBA Tip-Off Game 5. Teddy, thanks as always for joining us. We're going to bump you out of the Hollywood Squares.
Happy birthday,
we'll
Teddy.
Talk to you again on Friday. That's right, on the way out. Happy. Well, we already gave him one happy birthday. Contractually, we can only do it once a episode. That's the deal I made with him. All right, Teddy, great show, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. So, Rob, let me get your thoughts here on something different here. We'll change the topic a little bit here. Going into Game 2, and I saved the banner here, Lakers were up 1-0, and it hit the fan, and everyone had written the Heat off because they had 2-3 guys injured. Butler was not 100%. We obviously found out he is now when he had a triple-double. But here's the adjusted game odds now. They were 1-20. Now they're 1-10. Is there any value with the LA Lakers here? I'm not a big lay 1-10 ever, and I'm not sure I've hardly ever done it in my 25-year career. But can you make an argument maybe this is a bit of an over-adjustment, Rob, from what we saw in Game 3? Does the Heat have a chance, I guess, is the big picture question here going forward?
Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. I think that, if I go back 1992, so 28 years, I don't think I've ever played anything laying 10-1, whether it be boxing or anything. So I'm just not one to do that. That being said, I don't think there's a chance in heck that Miami wins the series, regardless of what. And, I do pay attention to Jimmy Butler, but I don't think they can win this series. They might get another game. Maybe they do. I don't even know if they'll get that. So I think the Lakers are winning the series. I'm just not one to lay that type of price. I'll go back real quick to what Jimmy Butler said after the game in his post-game interview when they asked him in kind of order of importance, what did you guys need to do to win a game in this series the way you did tonight in Game 3? And he said we had to get to the boards. Rebounding was the key, and they rebounded in that particular game. So I think Tony talked a little bit about rebounding. Miami did a real good job there. Miami's winning the battle where points in the paint are concerned in this particular series. They're doing a lot of things right as of this point. To the question, and I'll let Ski answer specifically if he's got knowledge of it, but Tony's question of what will the Lakers do differently if Bam's on the floor, I don't know, Tone, that they're concerned with whether Bam plays banged up or not. I think they're more concerned with their offensive output in Game 3 and correcting those situations to get more points, because as I mentioned, I think they have to get 110 plus to win games in this series. So I think those are the type of adjustments they'll make. They'll make them on the offensive end. I would not be surprised to see the Lakers get out and go even more so that they're not forced into half-court setups at times where Miami can funnel the ball to the perimeter and keep it out of the paint. I think they're going to keep – in fact, Anthony Davis, in a quote I read, I would expect him to stay out of foul trouble here. He blamed a lot of that on himself, and he just can't be taken out of a game for the Lakers to have any success. If you want to wait for Miami to win the series, have Anthony Davis on the bench in the first quarter in the next 4 games or the next 3 games, and maybe Miami can win a series. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think the adjustments LA will make are offensively to produce more points. Some of that just lies within better shooting. Some of the guys who were hot just weren't hot the last game. But Miami, they're very, very limited in what they can do defensively to stop LA from scoring 110 points. It happened to work last game. Everything clicked. I don't know that they can do that again.
Let me paint just a quick picture, a scenario for you, because I think you hit it right on the head, and that is, here's the deal. If Bam plays, this is what I see. In Game 2, when Bam went out, they went from the game ended with 60+ possessions of zone defense to 20+ in man, and much of that had to do with the fact that Bam was out. Okay, and they don't really have a true quality big that can play defense and score or do anything close to what Bam does. Secondly, I do believe that if they play that much more zone, LA will do exactly as you said, Rob, and that is try as much as they can to take advantage of their rebounding edge and get out in transition. And thirdly, Anthony Davis is going to be more careful tonight. He's not going to have 2 fouls in the first quarter or in the first few minutes. And with that comes, at least in my mind, as Coach Eric would say, listen, you read the quotes. We saw what happens to LA when Davis is on the bench. He's not going to foul. Let's at least try to make him get a couple fouls, take the ball right at him. And if he's not going to foul and he's going to play soft, then we're going to definitely take the ball. Essentially, all those three things combined, if LA gets out in transition, if Anthony Davis isn't going to defend because he just doesn't want to get those fouls, and he'd rather be on the court scoring as opposed to on the bench and not scoring, and Miami can score in that situation, or at least take advantage of those situations, and LA can score more in transition on the rebounds. How do you play the total here? Well, what's your first thought?
Yeah, Tony, I mean, would this be a good game maybe to wait and do some in-game total betting?
I think so. I think
see how he's moving out there.
Yeah, I think it's a good game to play. I played over the total, and Rob explained that. I played over the total in the game because I really believed Miami would go smaller and without Bam and would run more. And in turn, LA would get those rebounds and turn them into transition points. Nothing about Game 3 played out like I thought, except for the fact that I really don't like LeBron when he played there. It's just it's so unattractive, and it's just so childish. It's not how he talks. It's not how he acts when he's not playing. When he gets in that frame of mind, you just want to kind of go. You just want to kind of punch your TV screen and say, "You stupid sons of bitch! Wake up." It's just be who you want to be. That's not who he wants to be. I sure don't want him to be that way.
So, guys, quick rapid fire. Jump in with the answer. Who had the best plus minus in Game 3? Jimmy Butler was plus 20. It was not him. Give me an answer.
Kelly.
Duncan Robinson. Have we said his name the entire finals yet on this show?
He was the best plus, really?
Plus 27 for the Miami Heat. And LeBron and some of those other guys were minus 26. In fact, I think LeBron was minus 4. Anthony Davis, minus 26. Is that unbelievable? Played 33 minutes, minus 26 ski. LeBron was only minus 4. I mean, got to imagine that doesn't happen again. Jimmy Butler doesn't get another triple-double probably. Anthony Davis probably has a better game ski. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff is going to change for LA. And just talking about those things that you just mentioned, LeBron was terrible in the fourth quarter. He said that he can't turn the ball over against his team, and he takes it. He takes the responsibility. So I expect him to be better in this game. And Anthony Davis, I mean, I don't think we're giving the Heat enough credit. And I'm gonna call on Tony a little bit in this one. I don't think he's giving the Heat's defense enough credit because they didn't necessarily need Bam in that game, because what they did was force the Lakers out of the paint and front Anthony Davis, force him to not get the ball in his spots and have another defender come underneath. So they're game planning for Anthony Davis and putting him in positions to not be effective. It's the Lakers' job to change that.
They didn't make LeBron take 30-footers with 15 seconds left on the shot clock when you can get that shot any time.
But I'm not talking about LeBron. I'm talking about Anthony Davis. LeBron is going to be better regardless because he's not going to have.
We can't be worse, dude. He can't be worse.
Anytime. So then you like the Lakers tonight, Tony?
I do.
You like the Lakers tonight because Anthony Davis is going to be put in positions to be better.
I'm here to try to offer some good TV. That's all. The only reason I'm here for. Nothing else.
Hey, guys,
and to disagree with you.
Well, speaking of Anthony Davis, he's been around that 27.5, 28-point range. Yeah. DraftKings has him 29.5 to the over for total points tonight. LeBron 27.5. So, Ski, it looks like our logic is somewhat built into the line here. But do you still think there's any value over 29.5 with Davis total points?
No, I'm not looking at that. If I'm looking at any props, what I'm looking for the Lakers, I'm looking for Anthony Davis to probably distribute. I think, like I said, they're going to continue to plug the paint. I think Anthony Davis will catch the ball maybe closer to the paint, and everybody will collapse. They'll probably kick it out to three-point shooters. So I'm looking at Anthony Davis assists.
Lakers have no three-point shooters.
They've shot 40% from the three 6 times in the playoffs.
Davis, by the way, 2.5 over 75 Ski, so basically 3.5 probably the true number there.
And I'll tell you who I'm looking at the three-point line. If I'm looking at three-pointers over, it's going to be, I was watching the game from Game 3, and every time I'm catching the ball, I'm like, what are you in the game for if you're not going to shoot it? And that's Danny Green. I don't care if it's not going in. You got to shoot it.
1.5 plus 110. You're getting plus money that he makes 2 threes, Ski.
I want him, and I want KCP.
What's Danny Green's percentage this year from three-point line?
It doesn't matter. Tony's going to be wide open shooting, and he can make 2 of them.
So Ski, Caldwell Pope is 1.5 minus 160. Green 1.5 plus 110. So do you like Green a little bit better just at the plus price there?
I like the price, and I'll tell you one more. I'll look for I probably don't like it as much, but if I had to pick another person, it would be Kuzma. He's probably plus money.
On threes, I'm not even seeing him listed right now on 3-pointers.
That's because they don't. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, those are the 3 guys I'm looking at to have success from the 3-point line.
So, Tony, I know you always take the other side automatically, so we'll assume you're on it. But which ones do you actually like the other side on? Any of those?
Oh well, I just heard mumbling I just heard Laker fan mumbling in that damn whatever he was just saying.
He likes Pope and Green each over 1.5 made threes.
Well, let's go to a real prop, okay? Let's go to a prop that gives you a chance because these some bitches can't shoot threes, and if they hit them, it's just blind. They're closing their eyes and throwing the ball up there, and it goes in every once in a while. My grandpa would say, "That guy's lucky. He can't. No one can shoot that far away." They used to always tell me that every game we watch. Look at that, that's lucky. I said, "You must be watching Lakers." Real props.
By the way, those 2 guys were 1 for 7 combined in Game 3. They were 3 for 19 combined in Game 2. 3 for 19.
But these are good 3-point shooters. That just bad. It was just good defense by Miami.
Finally, you say it, Tony. There you go. That's what I'm giving.
Did you know that gullible is not a word?
Tony, you having too much fun today.
Yeah, it's because that's because I'm not drinking. I'm having coffee and Bailey's. That's not drink. That's not really drinking, is it?
You should have hung out with me for my birthday.
I called you. I said I'm down here at Cheetahs. Where are you?
I must have been passed out. My bad.
I wasn't at Cheetahs either. But, no, I would like this is it. What's Butler's? Let's do a real prop now. Don't we have a assists, points, and rebounds?
Yes.
Okay. Butler's total.
Butler's total on that is 39.5 over minus 150. So basically, he's got to get to 40-ish range on that one.
And minus 150.
Yeah, minus 150.
I find that fairly interesting. I find that as an overreaction to his triple-double.
Oh, yeah, and I think, a lot of this, of course, guys, the big elephant in the room here with all these Heat props is what Bam does. I mean, we talked about that in Game 2, when we knew Dragic and him were out. That opens up Hero. And by the way, Hero went from like 14 to 18.5. He's had exactly 17 points his last 2 games. He's yet to get to 18 in any of these games, even with a shorthanded lineup. And Tyler Hero points, before I forget tonight, by the way, is currently at 17.5. And he has not gotten there, guys, in any of the 3 games, including the last 2 with the shorthanded lineup. So that's an interesting one to talk about, too. But, Tony, I mean, who are you looking at here in this game? And Miami's tricky.
I have something I think I'll let you answer, Steve, or all 3 of you, and that is this. Do we all think Bam is going to play, or is he not going to play? Everyone agree? Is he going to dress? That's my question.
Yeah, my gut instinct would be he's going to try to go because the season's almost over, and if he's even talking about it, he's out there. But I think one thing that's certain is he's not going to be 100%. He might be better off. The Heat might be better off not having him play. I think it's a detriment not knowing for the Heat one way or the other right now.
Well, my question is twofold to you, and I know we're kind of running short on time, but my question is, if we believe he's going to dress, okay, what's the props on Bam? Are there props on him? Obviously, he must dress. He must at least play 1 minute. Are there any props on him?
I'm not seeing any because that's exactly right, Tony. I mean, because if they put an over-under prop on him and he plays 2 minutes,
play under.
Cashes.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what, you play under on Bam.
But it's a good point. If anybody can find a sports book dumb enough, and I'll say that nicely, to put a Bam prop up, the edge is with the under no matter what he does, even if he goes over, because there's so much chance that he might play. Minutes.
Unless it's 2 points, 2.5 points, and
correct,
and 1 rebound. You don't want to play under in that. Just so you know. Then my question is, the other part of that question is, if he does play, then who benefits from that? What player on the Lakers benefits from an injured Bam or a less than 100% Bam on the court? Which Laker benefits from that?
Rob, I'll throw it to you, Rob. Let's get your intake on these player props. I think that's an excellent point, Tony. We talk about it's hard to handicap Miami, but that's a good way to look at it. Which Lakers maybe benefit if Bam isn't 100% defensively, Rob?
Any Laker that wants to go to the rim. I mean, and that's probably 2, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. The rest of them float around on the outside. I'll give Caruso some credit. He will, go in amongst the trees and a lot of times pass it back out, but he'll attempt it. But, yeah, it's the 2 big guns that benefit the most. If Bam is in there injured and can't raise his arm over his head, you just attack. And those are your 2 best attackers on the Lakers. So I would think that it's those 2 guys.
And just to his point, Rob's point, here's the deal. In Game 1, when Bam was playing the full game, right? I'm going to glance at this box score because my memory, it was longer than 5 minutes ago. I barely remember. So Davis scores 34 in game 1.
Right.
Okay, that was with Bam on the court and maybe better than he would be today playing. We're guessing. We really don't know. You got to kind of trust him. And LeBron had 25. So those are the two guys that benefit. And guess who else benefits? The Lakers, because they don't have the Lakers as a team. Because then LeBron doesn't have to dish it out to those bad 3-point shooters. Anyway, it's better for them.
Yeah, and Ski, your closing thoughts here on the props and just the matchups in general.
Well, I talked about the guys I'm looking to shoot threes. I think I left off Morris. If you could maybe find his 3-point prop.
He's the best one they got.
I'm not seeing Morris either. Not seeing Morris.
They don't want to get hit. They know that one's a winner tonight. But my closing thoughts are, I expect Anthony Davis to have a much better game, to be much closer to the rim, not be so far away. I expect LeBron to be more aggressive and to not turn the ball over down the stretch. And I expect the Lakers shooters to hit his shots. So it sounds like you guys can probably guess I like the Lakers. I haven't made a play yet because I barely woke up. But I like the Lakers. And if I'm looking at the total, I expect the Lakers to score much better or much easier than they did in the last game.
I remember my 21st birthday as well, guys. Don't we all?
Well, I don't really remember. I remember parts of it.
I remember the beginning of that night. 2 days later.
Okay, I lied. I don't remember any of it.
So, by the way, before I forget, a double-double odds, LeBron minus 300, Anthony Davis minus 130. I think that's interesting. If Davis has the bounce-back game, minus 130 might not. Of course, he has to get the rebounds. We all know he'll get the points. Jimmy Butler plus 125. Triple-double. LeBron 2-1. Davis 30-1. Jimmy Butler 6-1 on the yes, 1-11 on the no. So the odds are saying about a 12% chance or so that Butler gets another triple-double tonight, and that might even be generous as they're going to be looking to shut him down, I would think. Although if Bam doesn't play, they might have no other choice than Butler to carry the load again. Tony, on the way out here, let me know what you got going on at WagerTalk.com tonight on Tuesday and the rest of the week as well.
Well, I had a lot of work to do this morning, and I apologize to all those who are my long-term clients. But as soon as this show ends, which it will, it probably should have already ended if I just shut up. I have a baseball play, I have a basketball play, I have a position in tonight's game. The guys who's watching the show probably they probably don't have to buy it. What it's going to be, and I have already put up. I'll have NFL and college football both. And I know my college followers are really excited about that because how could it be any worse than last weekend? That's what I got.
And by the way, keep in mind, a lot of us are doing videos all week long for college and pro football. So tune in each and every day on Wager Talk TV on YouTube and find college and pro football videos. Of course, MLB First Pitch is still going strong with the playoffs. Wager Talk today at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then, of course, we're back for Game 5 on Friday night here on Wager Talk TV. Rob Vino, what do you have going on for Wager Talk? And it's $2 Tuesday also for select captors, don't forget.
Yes, Steve, something that, I could count on one hand the amount of times I've been involved 2 times in the same game. But I do have 2 plays on tonight's NBA game. That's how strongly I feel about how this game's going to be played. I have a halftime play, a first half play, and I have a full game play, both up and available right now. WagerTalk.com. The full game play is a 4% best bet. The first half play is a 3% play. Also have Major League Baseball up and available on WagerTalk.com as well. So for me, if it plays out the way I think it will, we'll probably be able to cash some tickets tonight.
And Rob has a free coupon for that game, for that basketball double play tonight. If you guys just tweet him, just find his Twitter handle and tweet him. He'll give you that free coupon code.
And it's Rob Vino Sports, not Rob Vino Spots. There's no coupon.
Did I do it again?
No, you did not. I made you look. No, there's a different coupon at Rob Vino Spots, and that might not be.
Yes, that may be where the code is.
The male viewers might not find that too handy, but it's Rob Vino Sports. He's good to go. Although it was your birthday as well, so happy belated birthday to both of these guys. And I had a banner here, and I had the Teddy banner to go right after, but we got that in early because we had a good spot for it. So, but Rob Vino once again has both side and total, including a first half play. And we did not talk too much about the first half here on the show tonight. We left that as suspense. So go get Rob's best bet on that as well. Ski, how's the WNBA been going playoff wise, and what do you got going on at WagerTalk.com?
WNBA is looking like it's about to be over. Storm probably may finish it off tonight. I don't have anything up tonight. being responsible a little bit. And I'll see what I can do from now on. I'm looking at the WNBA, NBA tonight. More likely than not, I have a play in NBA, and we'll see if I get there in WNBA.
Yeah, once again, that's WagerTalk.com. And don't forget, there's free plays daily, not only on YouTube, on WagerTalk TV, but we also put them up with written analysis at WagerTalk and also the sister site, SportsMemo.com, where Teddy appears as well. So once again, free plays. If you're just starting off building your bankroll, want to get a feel for handicapper styles, free plays at WagerTalk and SportsMemo. And also, right after the games every night, you can go back and see everyone's official best bets with written analysis and recaps. So if you want to track a capper, get a feel for their handicapping style, I highly recommend going to the sites and reading the recaps. You know, we put some effort in. Tony puts more than most, writing short novels sometimes, but it's good information, as we know, and it's very helpful if you're doing your own handicapping. I've got a baseball best bet tonight and also a best bet in Game 4 of this NBA Finals game that we've been talking about. So NBA and MLB for myself, Steve Merrill, at WagerTalk.com. And, guys, we'll be back on Friday for Game 5. There's definitely a Game 5, so we're back Friday, Game 5, right here on Wager Talk TV. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you soon.